privilege.
We the people unite.
Yeah. We the people unite. Welcome, everybody. Happy Wednesday. How's everybody?
Wednesday.
Hey, y'all, what's up? What's up?
Doing okay.
We're here. I'm here.
We're all here.
I'm here.
Hey.
Yay. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. If you're in the chat, say hello. Tell us where you're watching us from, and thank you for joining. So, really, there's not a lot going on right now, right?
I don't even know
Is that what they're calling it?
I'm like, what are we going to talk about today? We have absolutely nothing going on. Well, here's our theme, guys. Here's our theme. When arrogance meets ignorance. And the imagery says it all, right? Oh. So, how's everybody been doing with the news about Iran and Israel, and how's everybody feeling about that?
I know when I first heard the news, I was in shock. I said, we did what? And nobody knows? And then when I found out they gave me the wrong coordinates, I was saying, what? This is funny.
I just remember hearing it that evening, and it's the first time my family, actually, we all got on the phone with each other. Kind of reminded me of 9/11, you know, that awful sinking feeling you had inside. And yeah, that's really what got
I did feel that way.
in my family. Yeah.
I was on vacation, and I was with a group of girlfriends, chilling, having a good time, laughing. And then one of my friend's moms texted her and said, "Do you want to come home?" And home for her is North Carolina. We were in New York. And her mom says, "We bombed Iran. And we all just got really quiet. Like, it was such a mood killer. And I don't mean to like make light of the situation, but just the way that it went from like laughter to, oh shit, we might die.
Mm-hmm. That's what it felt
I had
like.
the same experience when I first found out, because I was at a Ballers game, baseball game, and you know, having barbecue and whatever, cheering for Oakland and everything. And then I just opened my phone. I don't even know why. And I just kind of like, things kind of slowed down for me for a second. And I felt a little sick. And I just felt like, what? You know, it just like, I was in the wrong place for that type of information. I felt the same way.
I was at my grandma's birthday party. We're still going on in the evening, sitting there, and I thought about, should I say something? And then I looked down and I said, "Y'all, World War III, I think, just started. We done bombed Iran." And then we all got to talking and sharing, and people started telling, you know, how they were feeling and their fears and what's been going on. So it was good to kind of open a dialogue. So in that kind of intimate setting, but still,
I
it
saw
was just shocking.
I saw real fear in some of the young men who I work with, being afraid of being drafted. And they were serious to the point, you know, I was making jokes, you know, the Humvees are on P3 and the parking garage, get going, guys, you know. And I didn't think it was real. I mean, I knew it was real. We talked about it the week before. I think we all said we thought he was going to do something. And I think the protests and the parade pushed him over the edge, because he looked so feeble in his parade and the money he wasted. And you know, I think the last I heard, and you know, obviously I'm not the authority, I don't know, but that it was less people at the parade that are normally on the mall on a visitor weekend, on a tourist weekend, that were at that parade. So I think he was just humiliated and needed something big. Now, I'm not even sure where we stand in it right now. Can someone enlighten me?
We'll talk about it a little bit. Go ahead.
Oh, I just think it's confusing. I don't know what's going on. I thought I heard, but I don't know if that is a fact. So that they may have tried to drop another bomb, but I don't know that for sure. That's not factual. That's how confusing
The
it is.
last I heard was that he plans on meeting with Iran now.
Well,
So my issue is, go ahead.
No, I was going to, before we move on, let's hear or let's watch when Bernie Sanders first heard about it.
This is a statement from Donald Trump, quote, "We have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran," etc. I agree. And I want to tell you something. Not only is this news that I've just heard, the second alarming that all of you have just heard, but it is so grossly unconstitutional. All of you know that the only entity that can take this country to war is the U.S. Congress. The president does not have the right.
Damn right.
Mhm.
Damn right.
Power
And then,
to
of
the people.
course, yeah. Shortly after that, he congratulated, himself and everyone else. It's been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire. So this whole idea of peace through strength, right? Let's just bomb them and then, okay, guys, now we have peace, right? Total ceasefire. The problem was that Iran didn't agree to that, from what we understand. And again, we try our best here to be as truthful as we can, to bring as much truth as we can. And sometimes it's really difficult when you're dealing with different countries. So this was, this has kind of been that turn of events here. And I want to do one more before we start talking about it. This was 10 hours apart, right? Israel and Iran came to me almost simultaneously and said, peace. I knew the time was now. They were so dramatic. The world and the Middle East are the real winners. Both nations will see tremendous love and peace and prosperity. And he goes on and on and on and on. And then what happens 10 hours later, or less than 10 hours later? The bombs start flying again. So to me, this is the epitome of the arrogance and the ignorance. Anybody have comments?
Yeah, just a quick one that was just posted up. I just noticed how Congress and everything, the lack of permission from them has been kind of swept under the rug amongst all of this madness. When that's the real kind of issue that you could end all of this with, but they have gone all around and every which way, circle in any other direction beyond just the real meat of how we could solve this is by getting him like that. You did this without Bernie Sanders, he's a senator. He should have known about that. How is he finding out on the damn stage? So I just feel like that is a very easy way to get this man out of office. But with all this distraction and everything else and how fast everything is moving, that one of the most important pieces of how to solve this problem has been swept under the rug.
It's the biggest problem. Like you said, Congress has got to get up, got to pee or get off the pot. You know what I'm saying? You got to figure out something. They're going to have to move. They are not doing their job. Point blank, period. I don't care if we're going to lose or whatever, then we'll lose. But somebody got to do something. Because the Constitution is burning. How can you enforce it if you're not enforcing it to him? Because then all men are not created equal underneath this Constitution then. So we have to do something. We have to unite.
And we know that's what he does. He's like a child, like a toddler who pushes boundaries to see what he can get away with. And they keep letting him get away with stuff and not pushing back. And so they just continually let him erode their power. Like, how much more feckless do you want to be? Like, why do you even have a job in Congress if you're not going to do anything?
Well, this is Trump's superpower, and it always has been. Turning the media, getting the media focused somewhere else, creating so much cloud of confusion that none of us know where to focus. What's going on with the big, beautiful bill? What happened in the DOJ where they found that people were actually blatantly going out there to go against the courts and all that? Those all came into the media for about a split second, and then they're gone again. So that is his superpower, to keep everybody dazed and confused, and to the point where it gives you a headache and you just stop looking and you just say, F it, and move on.
Or even the fact that just, 2 weeks ago, we were talking about 2 legislators who were shot. One of them was killed along with her partner in Minnesota. And it was a targeted assassination. Like, how has that story disappeared? Like, that should be very alarming, and we should still be discussing this.
Right.
But the media has just like May Money said, swept it on the rug. Like, it's just dirt like anything else.
I thought it was very clear in the Constitution, tell me if I'm wrong or right, that a president needs to address it with Congress, right? In the Senate before they go to war or put a
They're
bomb
getting
on someone.
they're getting around this. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. Someone said my mic is not functioning quite right. I'll check that out. They're getting around this on a technicality that he did not declare war, that it was a targeted military strike. And it's appalling. Absolutely. It's appalling. It was an act of war, in my mind. If that were to happen on our soil, we would consider that an act of war, would we not?
Yeah.
So it's frustrating. I'd like us to hear a little bit from Heather Cox Richardson, but to me, when I was talking before and looking at what Iran is saying and what Netanyahu is saying and what Trump is saying, it's like, to me, this covers it all. Confused? Hell yeah. So all we need to know is they're basically all full of shit. And who the hell do we believe? What the hell do we believe? So Michelle, because America's in denial. Yeah, I don't know if it's in denial or we don't know what the hell to do at this point.
Well, I did see something that Michelle did say in the chat, that like we need to be in the streets every day, not just like every once a month and things. Boycotting needs to continue to happen. We need to stranglehold a lot of these like corporations and stuff, start like running their pockets. Even much so, I think as like a day where nobody goes to work, like literally the whole country just stays home, nobody goes, just one day to kind of show like the solidarity and really disrupt the system and like break the system to the point where they give in. That's the only way, I think, because this ain't sustainable and we have to do something really out of kind of left field to solve this without it being like straight up violence, which we don't want, but we got to be more aggressive.
The problem is we have half the country who's cheering this on, right? Or at least 35-40% are happy with what he did, are still cheering everything on and living in this bliss.
No, I think those numbers are diminishing slowly. It's not fast enough, but slowly.
120 people, 120 Congress, the Democratic Congress voted with the Republicans not to impeach. So because they didn't feel it would go anywhere again. So
I don't know. Anitra, you wanted to say something?
I was just saying, well, she said that too. We don't have any answers in regards to that, because if they're not going to do it, I can't impeach him. You know what I'm saying? That's their job to do it. But what I was thinking was, Oh, I lost my train of thought, so I apologize.
Well, what it
I'll
means
I
come
to
back.
me
was
is they already gave up before even trying. At least in his first term, they tried twice, and so now nothing happened. Then you just give up. We can't give up.
I think there
Well,
was a lot of confusion around the act itself
yeah.
because, first of all, we don't know what they actually got, if anything. Number two, a lot of folks around the world. I was with a guy who's an Austrian, an ambassador or some kind of secret something with Austria, and I just met him over the weekend, and he was like really enlightened me on a lot of things because Austria, he knows the Von Trapp family. He was a fascinating older guy, and he was feeling that most of the world feels much safer now because of Donald Trump, and I hate because of Donald Trump. And he's like, I don't care what your politics are, that if Iran doesn't have access or isn't that close to a nuclear bomb, we should all feel safer right now. And that's where the mixed emotion comes in, because I don't think anybody here wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon, but we still have a madman going after the nuclear weapons and the things without following our constitution, following our way of life, following what's right and wrong, and doing it unanimously, or not unanimously, what's the word I'm looking for, doing it just on his own, independently of what anybody has to say, and listening to who knows who. So I think that's where we're all a little bit confused. I mean, does anybody here on the panel want Iran to have a nuclear weapon?
No, but do we forget that
right.
Biden had an agreement in place? That we had an agreement that
But
was
that's gone.
ripped up?
Obama had an agreement.
Obama had an agreement in place, and because you don't like him, they made it null and void, and so he just chasing his tail now.
Well, that's exactly my point. It's that he's doing it his way, not necessarily our way. But I think the people
But it's
around
not
the globe are feeling safer because they're believing that there's no more threat, which we don't even know that's the case anymore. We don't even know if
I don't think there was a threat in the first place, because if Kim Jong Un can have one, it's a deterrent. And I'm not saying that that they should have one, but I think it's just some reason to go in there and do something. Bring me some evidence, and then we can talk. Until then, it's a bunch of hooey
Well,
to
my
me.
question, I wonder, how can we decide who can have one and who can't have one? I don't know who made us chief.
I think a lot of countries went through that.
Right.
I don't know that, but as long as they don't do it, and who said we could have one?
Does it that I mean, we the last person that should have one, in my damn opinion, at this point, because we got the dumbest people that ever walked the galaxy.
And that's how I felt. I'm like, he went over there, and again, I'm repeating myself, but I'm so happy they gave him the wrong coordinates, because they know we got a fool in office.
And think about this, like, it comes right back around to the title or the theme of this episode right here, like the arrogance and the ignorance. Like, we think we the hottest shit that's ever walked the entire universe, and we're literally proving that we are the exact opposite right now.
We showing that with September 11th. They said, okay, y'all think y'all know everything, huh? That stuff was knocked down.
Exactly. And that's one of the real valid fears that we should have right now, that something like that would happen again.
Now, that is one of the fears we have.
It's not if, it's when.
That's a great segue.
Yeah.
That's a great segue.
Before we segue, can I just point out, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
can I just point out with the impeachment vote, it wasn't that they declined to impeach, it was that they tabled the vote on impeachment. And I don't want to defend these people because they get on my nerves, because I don't think they're doing a whole lot. But I do think it's important to note that they just postponed a decision to vote on impeachment.
But for me, and I heard you, Keisha, but to me, that's the same thing, doing nothing.
Fair.
I'm just saying they're not doing nothing this time.
Yeah. But we strive to be accurate, right?
Yes.
So thank you.
Thank you,
Keisha, for that. But one of the things we do have to be concerned with, and we've talked about this before in authoritarian playbooks is there is a real threat for terrorism now, right?
Mhm.
And
No,
so I don't
Yeah.
know about you guys, but I feel so much safer that this 22-year-old is in charge of all that.
Oh, you funny.
That's ridiculous.
I have not heard about who is he? What is he doing? I haven't heard of this guy.
He's the head of our national security.
He is the one that well,
Yeah.
Like 22 or something like that.
Like
Yeah.
May, he came. Like May Money said,
Maureen,
he came
he's
from pushing- collecting carts in the parking lot to ruling protecting us all. It's the most
landscaping and
thing I've
grocery
ever seen
clerk.
in my life.
Not even a manager at the damn spot.
But he has
Well-
landscaping experience.
Well, he's a real cutie pie too, with that eyebrow.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I could have.
He looked like he said, "Just wait." Is anybody old enough to have seen I Smart?
Oh yeah, I am.
See, and you're old. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm very.
I'm smart.
I call
That's
myself
a little
Smart or
chat.
get smart? Oh, get smart.
Huh?
I see.
Yeah, get smart. Well, we
Get smart or with 99
Let's
get
get
smart?
yes.
Get
Yeah.
smart.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
doing.
The shoe?
smart.
Yeah.
Okay,
Get
thank you.
smart. Yeah.
Y'all
Okay.
at least know where I'm going with these stories.
Okay, Linda. So from Linda, Congress isn't doing anything. Supreme Court, yeah, citing with 47 more than that. We just heard a recent ruling by them, and the media is not challenging. Lying and deflecting is allowed and normalized. Where's our? Oh yeah, where is our Maryland and Cronkite? They went away with the fairness. What is it? Fairness
Doctrine.
Act. Yes, thank you. My mind is. Ah.
Katie's trying to come in.
Oh, yes, Katie, of course. There she is. Hi, Katie.
Hey,
Hello.
Katie,
Welcome.
welcome in.
Welcome.
Hi, Katie. I can't hear you though.
Here, she's muted.
Sorry, I'm on vacation. I wanted to hop in.
Okay.
Good for you.
Hey, hang on a
Yeah,
minute.
good for you. Yeah.
So don't y'all feel safer? I feel safer.
So much safe
Absolutely
with that
not.
scary eyebrow, with the rock eyebrow. I feel so safe.
I mean, it's given 000. 005.
Watching Get Smart used to scare you.
Just the facts, ma'am. Get that kind of stuff.
I mean, I totally want a gardener, working our national security
Mm-hmm.
and trying to
I don't
protect
understand
us
what the
while-
thought process is.
There is no thought process with any of this.
It's loyalty to Trump. That's it. That's all.
Damn, you might as well get me to do the job.
That's all.
I
But
feel
where did he come
more
from?
qualified to do that. If
Was
you
he
just
one-
finding random grocery clerks.
Was he one of Musk's kids?
No,
Probably.
no,
I don't-
he was.
I don't think
He
so.
was at the RNC. He was. I don't know. He's just a super fan.
Was he one of the ones caught on Grinder at the RNC?
I don't know.
What's our resident lurker and best mysterious friend got to say? August up there.
Excuse me?
Our favorite lurker. What you got to say about this since we've been talking about all this? We
When I
haven't
have
heard.
something to say, I would definitely jump in. I hold my tongue at this time.
Okay, that's all
No,
fair. and good.
August, not shy. All right, so here's a couple of rants, as usual,
Lurker.
right?
I got you,
So
lurker.
his Trump social, you can always tell when something gets under his skin because the rant, and it's usually in all caps. So fake news CNN, together with
Not
failing New
today.
York Times, have teamed up in an attempt to demean one of the most successful military strikes in history. The nuclear sites in Iran are completely destroyed. Both the Times and CNN are getting slammed by the public. Oh boy. And then I think he went on.
Our best journalists are on YouTube streaming.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
where they are.
But what is the truth of that? Do we have any more facts to that? To the actual damage? Does anybody know?
Not that I was able to find. And how are we going to get definitive proof? Iran is going to say, no, you didn't do anything, right? We can't trust this administration to tell us the truth.
That's right.
So I could go back to that other, everybody's lying. I mean, who knows? How do we know? I guess we'll know if they have a nuke in a couple of years.
Or a couple of months.
Well, keep in mind, they didn't have no nuke, like I said, when they used those airplanes, and they said airport employees were involved. So, we don't know who is who. We don't know who is who.
It's getting really...
I don't remember a lot of these people getting vetted before Congress.
Okay, none of them were vetted. And also, since when did we start passing policy on fucking social media? Like, that's the thing that's ridiculous. Why is the president making declarations of war or ceasefires on social media, on his own social media sites, and then signing it with his name like he's someone who just learned how to use the internet?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Hey, real quick, everybody, say hello to my friend Linda.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, Linda.
You can get in, jump in.
I asked Linda to join us. So
I am.
Please welcome her. We've known each other for almost 30 years. So
no.
We go
that
back
good
a
or
long
bad?
time. That's good.
She's one of my when I need support and when I think I'm going crazy, I call her up.
Yeah.
Hey, you're in the right group. That's how you all feel right now. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Linda is a lot of knowledge and is passionate as we are. So
yeah, that's
trying not to get discouraged.
Even the ones that are vetted, you don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
That's what the lady was saying in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I said to my husband, because I just finished watching Dawn's show like a couple minutes ago, when Caroline Levitt was on there like screaming about how mad she was about like all these leaks and stuff. I'm like, why wasn't she this mad about Signalgate with all the leaks?
She's worthless.
Oh, every time she talks, I feel brain cells die.
I really do think that honestly, some of these like signal chats and some of these things they're really funny because, like, basically, like, take for example what Pete said, Hex has said when he's like, oh yeah, well, Greenland, we might or we may not do something about them or Panama. I'm like, well, you know what you need to do? Keep working with Signal so at least these other places have some warning and, they can just get their random hacker friend to just get all your information and intel. Keep being stupid because that's helpful to everybody for you to keep using Signal and talking about your war plans. Because at this point, it's helpful information. So I just like, these people are so incompetent that it's almost like we need to use their stupidity against them,
Well, see, that's I'm saying is when we had September 11th, we had people that we believed in that could watch the country and keep us safe. And now we have people that we don't feel safe and we wonder why they're in office. So if they could do that when we felt we were safe, I just want to know what they can do now.
100%.
I don't know. I feel safe. I mean, look, I feel safe with this guy. Don't you feel safe with this guy?
I like it shaken, not stirred. Looking at it.
He's
he
like
looks
staring.
like that guy from Mini Me, that Shag, whatever that.
That looks like,
what is
Shag
that?
Me, baby.
Yes. What's the show though?
Yes.
Austin Powers.
Austin Powers. Shag Me.
That too. That is a mix of what is it? Austin Powers and Get Smart. We in trouble.
Well, but guys, we can come and bitch and moan about it all day on this panel and on any show out there. But until we get someone like a May Money, like someone who's got a half a brain and has the mouth. No, really, has the fight in her, like
Well, we have
Jasmine
those people.
Crockett.
Yeah, exactly. But they are the Democrats are sidelining her. They don't want the Jasmine Crockett. They don't want the AOCs.
Are they going to be able to side May Money? No.
It has to be. It has to be. It has to be Republican.
They didn't want Jasmine Crockett, remember?
I hear background noise. Does somebody have?
Yeah, I hear it too.
I hear it too.
Radio or something going on in the TV.
I think it has to be a Republican. It has to be a Republican that takes them down.
My daughter has her tablet on. That's what it is.
It will be. It will be a lot of that, Keisha. I do think, again, like we've had this conversation over and over and over again until we're blue in the face. But we have to we have to wait these people out, and his own people are going to be the ones that take him out. But we just kind of like have to, first of all, provoke it into that, but also kind of hunker down and wait for them to get their ass whooped enough to be like, okay, now I'm done with this. And my only concern is we don't know when or how much of that we're going to have to put up with, you know?
And so I wanted to ask, do y'all think that with what he did with the bombing Iran without congressional approval, having the NATO alliance call him daddy, what the fuck was that?
I didn't hear that. Daddy.
The way that he's in, it was in Don's show. He talked about how some of the NATO reps called him daddy, and the press asked him about it.
Weird.
He and signing his
children.
Yes, and signing his social media messages with his name, like he is clearly losing his mind. I don't know if he has dementia officially, but the man is losing his mind, and I'm wondering if this is the point where, at least in the background, some of the big money people who support him and back him and the Republicans are doing something to get him out of office. What do y'all think?
No, Mitch McConnell just said today.
One at a time.
Mitch McConnell said today, just sign the bill and we'll deal with it later. Did anyone else hear that?
I thought he retired.
Yeah, no, I heard something about him.
I heard that.
Yeah, you heard that, Keisha? I'm not dreaming that.
But he's also losing his mind.
Right.
I thought that was when he freezes on TV now.
I thought the McConnell thing was when they tried to repeal Obamacare. Like,
no, this was today. I thought I heard it.
It was about Medicare. He said that a lot of the Republican constituents were probably going to be upset about losing Medicare, but they will eventually get over it.
Yes,
that is exactly what he said.
I think that there needs to be, lastly, before we move on, like that there does need to be some sort of like secret bunker intel SEAL Team 6 people that we don't even know about planning something. If it isn't already, there needs to be, because like we can't just be like just sitting here letting these people do what they want to all willy-nilly. I really do hope that there is some sort of military group within our country that is like actually working on something that we don't know about low key. But I mean, who knows? We wouldn't be able to know that either way. So,
well, we've seen some cracks with this whistleblower coming out from the DOJ with, I mean, Rubio and Hegseth and Trump. They all said different things about this bombing. They were all everywhere about the replacement of the regime. They were all saying three different things about the exact same thing. So they're not even on the same page if they even talk to each other.
And boy, is that scary, huh?
Yeah.
No, but the problem is that Fox doesn't show that. They're only getting fed what Fox wants them to see, the messages they want to see. They're not seeing anything else. So they think this looks normal. That he sounds strong. They're not seeing reality.
No, they're not.
And it's not just Fox. I was watching Morning Joe the last couple of mornings, which I don't usually tune into, and I've had it on in the background, and they seem to be leading Trump in a lot of different commentaries that anybody else notice that?
I don't watch
a whole lot of it going on.
They're normalizing.
I think ever since the two of them went down to like Mar-a-Lago after he won, they've been going downhill ever since.
Yes.
It's so obvious he's deranged. And
All right. Well, let's, if nobody else has anything on that, I'd like to switch gears back to immigration a little bit, because this is still a huge problem that is getting worse. And it's been overshadowed recently by this Israel-Iran conflict. But I want to bring it back and continue to talk about it a little bit. This is the one, and we talked about it before, but this is the one that really got me. Let me start it back to the center. They all
First
get
of all,
me.
I want to get your reaction to this video that we now have about this chase that we saw with these federal agents, one brandishing a gun. They're now claiming that there was some attempt to assault them with the weed whacker. There's no evidence of that on the video. And you heard Alejandro Barranco saying, he's a constituent of yours in California, this whole family is, that he feels betrayed.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking to see that video. It's terrifying to see that video, and I have no doubt he feels betrayed. He should feel betrayed. Here's this man who, for, as I understand it, decades worked in the United States as a landscaper, had no record, no criminal convictions, none of that stuff that the Trump administration claims they're prioritizing. And he did what we would hope someone would do, in the sense of he raised, I think, 3 Marines, 3 of his sons Marines. That's extraordinary. And to treat someone who obviously raised his children in such an exemplary way, that way to beat him while he's on the ground, it just breaks your heart. It is a complete betrayal. And I think it just shows you the top-down, morally bankrupt leadership from the president through the attorney general, and then onto the street that we just saw. These 2 segments that you portrayed, this Justice Department lawyer, this whistleblower, talking about how he didn't sign up to lie, being essentially ordered to lie or fired because he wouldn't lie by the likes of Emil Beauvais, someone who moved to dismiss the case against the mayor of New York, the corruption case, to which other prosecutors basically said they didn't sign up for that. They refused to corruptly dismiss those charges against the mayor. And one of them said, you might find some fool or some coward to do this for you. That was never going to be me. But now at the top of the Justice Department, this is what we have. We have fools, cowards, and liars at the top of the Justice Department. And you see it now percolate all the way down to the streets of Los Angeles, where they're beating the father of 3 Marines, who is a landscaper with no criminal record. It is a betrayal, and it breaks your heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And not only that, the man asked his son to go back and finish the job that he was working on. That's integrity. And yet these masked people in cars with no identification, no badges, anything, they kidnap people off the streets. They're kidnapping people.
Now, was he a citizen? Green card? Was he illegal? What was his deal?
He had been in America for like 30 years. I don't know his legal status. I believe his sons were citizens. And again, I haven't researched all of this yet. So this is what I understand.
I'm just hoping he can sue the hell out of them.
Yeah. And to me, it doesn't matter. We don't treat, we're getting to the point where I am losing all faith in humanity here, because we are seeing this on a daily basis. And he talked about our attorney general, and this is her response. Basically, let's just freeze the funds in all these sanctuary cities until people start complying. I mean, the corruption goes to the top, the cruelty goes to the top. And this is just one of many stories. There's just so many out there.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a woman who was pregnant when she was arrested by ICE, and because of how they neglected to treat her as a pregnant woman, she basically lost her baby and it gave birth to a stillborn. Like
Yeah.
it's getting to the point where I feel a lot about this the way I feel about any time a Black person is extrajudiciously killed by the police.
Mm-hmm.
I can't take it. It's too much to hear the horror stories, and like I know that I shouldn't look away, but I can't focus on the details because it's too much. So I say like a silent, like, this is God bless that person. And I don't say that in a religious way. I just say it in like a respectful way. But it's just too much. It's horrific, and I don't know how to feel about it because this is on our hands as Americans.
Right.
You are feeling, so you're feeling helpless like the rest of us.
The rest of us, right? And then we have, only in America can the son of immigrant refugees show up to be anti-immigrant, anti-refugee politicians, and frankly, anti-American in my mind. And so I want to show this because this is important too. And this was opening remarks in Bandy's Senate hearing. Has anybody watched any of that?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So I just want to play the opening remarks because to me, this says it all. This is the truth, right?
Statement. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, Attorney General Bandy. The Department of Justice is supposed to play a vital role in defending our Constitution, upholding the rule of law, and keeping the American people safe. Unfortunately, it's currently failing on all these fronts, and this budget request will make a bad situation even worse. We are witnessing a level of lawlessness from this administration that is unprecedented in scale and scope. Indeed, when asked, President Trump said he didn't know whether he was required to comply with the Constitution of the United States. Instead of defending the rule of law, DOJ attorneys are being deployed to aid and abet in lawbreaking. Like just yesterday, Madam Attorney General, when the administration took, I believe, the unprecedented step of suing all the Maryland Federal District Court judges because of actions they took to protect habeas corpus and the constitutional right of due process. To date, the administration has faced nearly 300 legal challenges in federal courts. There are currently in place a huge number of preliminary injunctions and temporary restraining orders issued by judges appointed by presidents of both parties, including appointed by President Trump. At the same time, patriotic career civil servants have been fired for upholding their constitutional oaths. In January, the then acting Attorney General fired more than a dozen prosecutors simply because they had been assigned to work with special counsel Jack Smith. And dozens of others have also been wrongfully terminated. And you picked up where the acting Attorney General left off when you fired the pardon attorney after she declined to restore the gun rights to a close friend of President Trump with a domestic violence conviction. Perhaps most troubling, Madam Attorney General, is you have fired attorneys like the acting Deputy Director of the Office of Immigration Litigation simply for telling the truth in court. As he said yesterday, the whistleblower, in a complaint filed, quote, "I didn't sign up to lie." That sends a terrible message to every DOJ attorney who wants to both do their job and uphold their professional ethics and integrity. While spending taxpayer resources to defend this lawbreaking, the administration has proposed a budget that is a gift to our foreign adversaries, to the drug cartels, and to illegal firearms traffickers. Why do I say that? Let's look at each of those categories. On your first day, you disbanded the FBI Foreign Influence Task Force Office, which was established to combat secret malign influence campaigns by China, Russia, and other adversaries. On that day, you also restricted the scope of criminal charges under the Foreign Agents Registration Act. Your budget cuts the Drug Enforcement Administration and eliminates funding for the organized crime drug enforcement task forces, which coordinate interagency efforts to combat the worst drug trafficking cartels. And you're effectively dismantling efforts to go after illegal gun traffickers by attempting to dissolve the ATF. At the same time, this budget undermines local law enforcement by stripping away funding that's critical to protecting our local schools and reducing violent crime in rural communities. And many organizations that help the victims of crimes are running out of their fiscal year 25 funds because, for example, the Office of Justice Programs has only posted one grant solicitation for 2025. Meanwhile, under the guise of efficiency, your budget proposes to combine and significantly cut the 3 distinct DOJ grant-making agencies, including the Office on Violence Against Women, which you propose to slash by 30%. There is nothing efficient about reducing services to victims of crime. Your budget also indicates that transparency and integrity are not priorities of the Justice Department. Over the last 5 months, you've decimated the public integrity section. Public reports indicate that this office went from 30 attorneys to as few as 5. Your budget would also slash the department's oversight watchdog, the Office of Inspector General, by $42 million. Inspector General Horowitz told me that these cuts would result in the elimination of 140 positions, which would bring investigations to a halt and interfere with the IG's ability to conduct oversight of the department. I would note that it was an OIG investigation that helped uncover the FBI's serious mishandling of allegations of sexual abuse against former USA gymnastics physician Larry Nassar.
Well, damn, it would be easier to just list what she didn't do wrong on the list. You could have saved a good 5 minutes. You're muted, Kim.
Can't we get her impeached?
I thought it was important to show more. I was just going to show the first part of that, but I mean, he goes on. It's not too much longer, but I think to Linda's point, Fox News will never show this, right? They'll never, unless people are actually watching the Senate hearing, they are not going to see this. They are not going to hear this. And so I just thought it was important.
Fox News needs to go too. Once this is all said and done, they need to be disbanded. Some of them need to be tried for treason as well. I really do believe that. But one thing that we didn't, I think there's a different person in the same kind of conference interview, whatever, that I was going to bring up earlier. I'm glad you brought this up and you saw this, because another person was saying that why this is so dangerous is that people are really thinking that they're getting kidnapped by unmarked vans and unmasked people and getting walked up on, pulled up on, and people are gonna fight back. They're gonna be like, whoa, what's going on? Like, so that's not safe for the actual officers themselves.
It actually happened in Houston today. The person dressed up like ICE and tried to snatch the woman, and luckily she got away. But it was the person dressed up like ICE.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, well, that's been happening. But what I'm saying is, somebody is gonna pull up and try to kidnap the wrong person, and the ICE officers are gonna be the ones that get messed up, and it's not gonna be the person. They actually might run up on an actual criminal this time, and that's what I'm saying. So how is this even safe for her officers or so-called officers? That's where I'm kind of coming from.
I think they're gonna start getting drive-bys when they standing there and think they're gonna pick somebody up. I think people are gonna start driving by and shooting them.
I mean,
well, yeah, I mean that's very much a possibility.
Because this world went crazy.
Mm-hmm.
There was an article.
In what world can people with masks just abduct people and no one knows who the hell they are?
Mm-hmm.
In no world. And that's why this is not going to end good. And it's not going to end good for them, because one day they're going to pull up on the wrong person. It's not going to be no lawnmower or
this is
landscape.
No different than a KKK hood.
That's right.
Right here.
Right.
It just say police.
Look at those eyes. Oh.
This was, from Adam Kinzinger, right? So let's get this straight. In the United States of America, law enforcement officers work for the people. They are public servants, sworn to uphold the Constitution, bound by law, answerable to those they protect. That's the theory, right? So why are they wearing masks? And he said this isn't about undercover work. That was what Kristi Noem's explanation. in her Senate hearing that, well, they do undercover work. It's baloney. It's
Well,
not
if they
about.
so legit, why don't they take the mask off?
You know why? Have you? I didn't pull that, but what I saw was that the Republicans somehow, and I have to look this up, so I'm not sure, voted that it was okay for the January 6th people who got pardons could join ICE, could be a part of ICE.
Isn't that something?
And that could be the reason why they're masked, right? So we have militia, basically. That's scary, you guys. That
we all predicted that was going to be his personal little army.
Yeah.
I mean,
and there is
of them.
The bottom line is, where's Jim Jones when we all need him? Where is that Kool-Aid? Let's just go.
Kool-Aid.
No. We did. May, you shared. I think this is one of part one. Let's listen.
Is if you're proud of what you're doing, you shouldn't need to cover your face to do it.
That's it. That's true.
And so these ICE agents, and we're going to put a lot of energy behind attacking the Trump administration on this. But we also have to talk about the agents themselves that are carrying this out. If you have any decency, quit now. Go do something else. Because just doing what you were told has been the justification for some of the worst horrors and crimes against humanity in the history of not just this nation, but this world. And we're seeing this unfold right before.
Yeah, there's a bill being introduced, right?
It's disgusting. And so I'm proud to be introducing this legislation with people who are doing the work behind me in this community to keep our people safe. And we have to talk about the lawlessness of this administration. They said they wanted to arrest elected officials, then they arrested a mayor in New Jersey.
Yeah, so there's legislation that
I was just thinking that we could have the 1 million person march to surround the White House and say we want him impeached. It has to stop. It has to stop.
That'll never happen with this Congress. Never.
Well, they can't stop it. Just like they had the 1 million man march. We did it once before. They can't stop us from marching and protesting.
Oh, no. They can't stop you from marching. They will not impeach him. They're not doing anything.
That's why they have to be forcefully
removed. That's why we got to show. We have to stand together and show we won't have it. We have
to. Maybe somebody needs to go in there and we all march around and gather around and be like, impeach. And somebody literally needs to go in there and grab these motherfuckers and put them in handcuffs and take them the fuck up on out. They can get their due process. I don't
want nobody to get hurt, but I'm saying
but people are getting hurt already. People are already getting hurt.
I'm saying
people are dead by these.
We need our congressmen and our senators to act, and I feel like they.
Well, what are they? Well, why wouldn't you be scared if you got? I mean, your colleague just was murdered in cold blood at their house, and they haven't said anything. Wouldn't you be scared to say anything? And while you're in Congress,
when they're just attacking people and bragging you, more reason for us to do something.
That's why they need to be handed with the same force, Andrea.
You know what I mean? They can't do nothing. We got to do something.
So I got cut off from my hotel internet, but one of the things that scares me the most about like this ICE stuff and the fact of like people wearing masks and
I think Katie's talking.
I'm sorry. Am I? Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the things that freaks me out about ICE is the fact that like these people wear masks, and you know that some people can get like their coats and like their jackets and stuff off of Etsy. So how do we really know some of these people are even ICE?
We don't.
That's what we're saying.
Don't.
Yeah,
that's already happened.
Did they take August? Where is she?
I don't know. I lost her. I thought she would text me, but I haven't.
And like, you know, they try to look at these like unmarked vehicles and everything, and it's just like, who really are a lot of these people, and are they even who they say they are?
I'm not going with you.
Well, I think that's what May Money's pointing at, that people need to dress up as ICE people and go after go after the ICE people or go after the people.
Well, I'm not saying dress up as ICE people. I'm all down with Andrea saying, hey, we all need to gather around and, you know, protest. Like, we need to do more than one thing. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. At least I hope we can. I don't have much evidence of the competence of this nation at this point, but
I don't either.
What I'm saying is that this has come to the point where, hell, we make a day where everybody goes and protests peacefully outside, and we send in some real motherfuckers to go up in there and be like, you need to come with us by any means necessary and get every single one of these criminal, treasonous traitors the fuck up out of there, because they're not gonna listen to Congress. We have already seen that, and Congress people with the media, they are under attack. They are under attack.
Let her finish.
He didn't call them on January 6th, but he'll call them on that day.
Sure.
They'll get killed.
But that's why you also need the other people that are in the military to Maxwell Frost is his last name. What's his last name? Frost?
Yeah, it's Frost.
Whatever he was saying was to don't do this job. You don't have to do this job. Go find anything else.
But I mean, not, and in addition to that, I'm saying we all collectively need to go to Washington. It seemed like it's not good enough to go to different places around the country, because he ignored that and tried to still say that his parade was so good that he didn't pay attention to the protests. But
but people had eyes. They saw.
We as a people need to go and go convene on Washington. I mean, by the millions, as many as can go.
But he reversed it. Andrea, he reversed it.
We need to like all be kind of like sitting in the streets, not going to work, just kind of disrupting and breaking.
And I believe that would work. I mean, but you have to be in a financial state that you can even afford that. Some
people are on the bottom, so I can't afford shit either. I'm unemployed. I ain't got shit else to do, but might as well anyway. We ain't gonna have no food.
Michelle says,
they sit in the streets.
They had people.
If everybody does it together.
After the protests and the parade, I do believe that a lot of MAGA woke up, opened their eyes to a bit, but I think everybody got snapped right back into place with the change of the narrative and the bombing. Snapped right back into place that he's our hero, he's our guy. And until, that bill or the Medicare really gets taken away from them and other issues happen where they feel the real pain, nothing's going to change.
Yeah, they're going to have to feel the pain. And unfortunately, pain is a motivator. So that's exactly what it is. It's going to have to come to that. Unfortunately, when they feel it, we're going to feel it. And that's what is not right. I don't care for that part.
and we've been saying that since the beginning. Right? Since we started this.
Right.
We know, unfortunately, it's going to get bad and we are going to have to go through it. However, it's almost like this has to happen for people to finally get over him.
Anytime change has really come, it has been a march.
Yeah, it has to. I want to share before because we're getting close to the end. I want to share this person because she doesn't get enough acknowledgement for what she tried to warn everybody of. And we've talked about this on here. And this is Dr. Bandy Lee. She was one of the psychiatrists that wrote the book, right? The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump. And she has a Substack and she continues to put information out. This one, as I was reading it, is starting to get really scary. She has literally come out based on all the information she has collected as a psychiatrist and has labeled him a psychopath. And to me, this is a big step to do that, from malignant narcissist to sociopath to based on everything he's done and continues to do. But she also talks about the people who support him as well. So it's going to get worse, unfortunately. I don't want to end there because I never want to end on a downer. You know me,
Mhm.
right?
I
So
will say though,
I see
Rachel
Michelle in the
Maddow,
chat.
if
And she
anybody
has
whoa,
a
whoa,
didn't
whoa,
see,
one at a time. One at a time, Jim.
Rachel Maddow had a very good show this past Monday, pointing out
Yes, she did.
all of the different domestic acts of terror that we've already had this year. That, like, I forgot about the Florida school shooting. I forgot, none of it got really more than a second or two of airtime. And there's been so much of it that we're just not even desensitized. We don't even see it anymore. We just don't see it.
Trump dropped the F-bomb yesterday on the news. That would have been, any other president would have been like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. Fuck them. They would have lost their minds.
Yeah.
And
They
yesterday
lost their
they just
mind.
went on. They just went on about their day. And I said, this man is really Teflon Don.
Remember when Obama wore the tan suit, for heaven's sakes?
Mm-hmm.
They got freaked
Can you
out.
imagine? Can you imagine if Obama would have said the F-bomb? Like, they would have ran to the White House and just like taken him out themselves.
Yeah,
we know the
that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
So lastly, what my last little thing, I said something that was really funny today. I really think, just for shits and giggles, I think that everybody, all these world leaders and everybody should, invite him over for some summit and everything. And then, all the world leaders are there, all the press in there, and everybody is in on it. And they just pretty much just pretend like he's invisible and does not exist. So like, say me and Kim are talking and he walks up and he says something. We just look through him and be like, oh, hey girl, how you doing? And then just walk by, go over there, and nobody ask him no questions. Nobody talk to him. Literally pretend like he's invisible. I wonder how that would work.
Oh, to a narcissist?
I'll say that they all invite him and then they beat his ass.
Yeah, I like that better. But that kind of happened on his first term when he had the hot mic with Trudeau and who else was there?
Right.
Where he walked up and they all maligned him as soon as he walked away on a hot mic.
Mm-hmm.
So
he would probably spontaneously decombust on the spot.
They kind of did that at the G7, and then at NATO. I mean, you had Canada meeting with the EU to make deals, cutting America or the US completely out. Yeah. So a lot of that is happening. They realize how dangerous he is. They're not playing the game anymore.
At the very least, just stop inviting him. No more intel.
Hey, one at a time.
They invite him and they put on their ice suits and they mask and then beat them up like they doing to other people.
Okay. Oh my God. So anyway, Linda, you brought up, I want to talk about that on Friday. What you just brought up, right? NATO and what Canada is doing with the EU. And for the first time, we are not part of it. And that is really scary.
Good.
So let's end on a little bit. I put the thing back up. So our theme is arrogance and ignorance, right? And of course, we cannot talk about arrogance and ignorance without our favorite congressperson.
Chairman, I would like to express in the strongest words possible that I support the police, and we should be supporting the police here in our nation's capital, because it's our nation's capital that has one of the highest murder rates in our country, one of the worst crime records in our nation.
Read the crime statistics. We all know you can't walk around this city without being in danger of being robbed or carjacked or murdered, maybe. My goodness, how horrible is that? So let's support our police officers. Let's vote for good things to help citizens in this city. And Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Will the gentleman yield for a question?
No, I will not yield to one of your stupid questions.
It's the blonde or the blonde-headed butch body.
Yes.
Bad built butch body.
There you go.
Sometimes when I'm sitting here listening to them, that's what I see. I see toddlers. I see bullies. I see.
I believe you.
Don't put that evil on the toddlers.
I think
the first part of it. Let me just play the first part. I forgot to recue it. But this is the epitome of her.
If you have a little microphone you can talk in, doesn't mean that you can sit here and lie to the American people every single day. They can read the crime statistics. We all know you can't walk around this city without being in danger.
You can't lie to the American people. They do it every day. They do it every single day.
Did you see when she was banging on the gavel, just like
she was having a seizure? Like, calm down, lady.
I so badly wanted that
happening right now.
I so badly wanted that gavel to break and just whack her right back in the face.
Yeah, or something. Yeah, ricochet back. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe
But to me,
knocks her some sense into herself with her gavel. Maybe she should try banging on her head.
It would probably make a nice hollow sound.
Arrogance and ignorance. Yeah, but the fact that she had the audacity to support the Capitol Police, the audacity to say anything about that, anything, just any Republican,
she's horrible.
So gets me. All right.
Sorry, Joseph Cuteness. Well, I was going to say for Joseph Cuteness, my curfew, but he's. Oh my God.
Obama.
I don't think they like Marjorie either.
Oh, I see.
Oh my God, that was funny. That was so appropriate.
So that's my curfew fighting with my dog. Jealousy.
Oh my God. Yeah, that happens. I know. All right, we're at the time. Anybody have any last anything they want to say before we sign off for today, and then we'll start planning for Friday.
And who knows what we'll find out tomorrow, huh? Yeah.
Oh, keep hope alive.
There will be plenty of news to talk about pretty much within the next 20 minutes.
But I do want to talk
thanks
about
for
NATO.
letting me. Thanks for letting me
Thanks
come
for
in.
joining us.
Yeah, nice to have you.
Anytime.
We like
Make
to have,
sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and comment on what you guys think. We really need all of that engagement so that we are staying aware and just being cool out here and being community. Feel me?
We the peeps, right? All right. Say bye, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody. Join us on Friday.
Thanks for tuning in to We the People Unite, where truth has no age limit, and even the smallest voices speak loud. I'm Baby Kiki, one of many voices in this big, bold broadcast, from babies to boomers, and every truth teller in between. If today's episode made you laugh, think, or scream into a pillow, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a wake-up coup. Catch us Wednesdays and Fridays at 4:30 p.m. Pacific for more truth, resistance, and radical nap energy. This is our broadcast, our future, our fight. We the people unite. Truth, justice, and sippy cups for everyone. See you next time.
We the people unite.